Hello everyone and welcome to another beginner's guide to FFXIV. Last time we took the first steps into the world of Eorzea, and today we'll be taking a look at the retainer system and how to level up all jobs. Let's start off with the retainer system. Next to me is the retainer rocket. You can find them in every single main city if you look for this symbol right here. They are what allows you to create your retainers. Now you might be asking, what are retainers? Well, retainers are basically your storage, and they're your main way of selling items on the market board, or the auction house as it's also called on other MMOs. Retainers have a storage of 175 slots, which means that they have a slightly bigger capacity than the 140 slots the player inventory has. You can have more than 2 retainers, 9 in total, but every retainer past the second one adds an extra €1 roughly to your monthly subscription price. These retainers aren't just for storage and selling items. You can assign them a job, either a combat or a gatherer job, and then send them on missions called ventures. If you look at mine, for example, one is a black mage and the other one is a fisher. In order to assign a class to a retainer, you need to give them the appropriate main hand. Keep in mind that until level 30, your retainer cannot evolve into a job, so you have to pay attention to that. In order to assign a job to a retainer, however, you need to be at least level 50 with it, and your retainer needs to be at least level 30 before you can buy a job change scroll from the retainer bucket. There is a catch, however, to the retainer system. You cannot assign them a job that you have not unlocked. So let's say that you only have white mage unlocked and it's level 56, right? That would mean you cannot give a retainer the paladin job, and the retainer's max level cannot be higher than the one that your job has, so it cannot go higher than level 56. After assigning your retainer's job and completing a quest from the NPC Troubled Adventurer, which can be found in one of the 3 starting cities depending on which grand company you started off with, you can assign them on retainer ventures. Now these retainer ventures cost ventures, and they can be seen right here at the top of the retainer window, marked with a silver coin. There are 3 types of retainer ventures. The first one is a targeted exploration. You choose what materials your retainer brings back, and this is decided by the assigned job as well. A combat job specialized only in hunting, and a miner specialized in ores, botanist in herbs, and fisher in fish, and so on. The second type is once again dependent on your retainer's job. Compared to the first type of adventure, however, this one simply tells your retainer to wander the world and bring back items that they see fit. However, the main difference between this type and the first one is that the retainers have a chance of bringing back items, minions, or crafting materials specific to the open exploration venture, provided that they are high enough level and the gear is good enough. Finally, the third type, quick venture, which is unlocked once your retainer hits level 10, is simply a venture where your retainer can bring back literally anything from materials, armor pieces, furniture. Basically, if it exists in the game, the retainer can bring it back. To a certain degree, of course, they won't bring back savage gear or current content tome gear. There is a difference between quick ventures and regular ventures, and that would be the duration of the venture. Regular targeted ventures and open exploration ventures last for 18 hours, meanwhile quick exploration lasts for 1 hour. There are a few ways of obtaining retainer ventures. Buying them from your grand company with seals, obtaining them from leaf quests, a subject that I'll be touching in a future crafter gatherer guide, or completing beast tribe quests. The ones that you buy from the grand company can be found at the Flame Quartermaster under the first rank tab and under material, and they are worth 200 CLs each. The other subject that I would like to touch upon in today's guide is leveling alts. I'm sure a lot of people out there have got a bit sidetracked on their way to max level on their first job, myself included to be honest, and felt that they needed to dip their toes in another job. There are a few ways to do that, some requiring a bit more background setup than the others. I will go through them from the least efficient to the most efficient, and probably also the most brain numbing. The first, and probably in my opinion at least, the least efficient leveling path, at least past level 15ish or so, is the hunting log. You unlock this log for every class, the ones that are at level 1, not the ones that already start out with jobs, as soon as you finish the first class quest. You access it by pressing H, and the point of it is that it's basically a one-time bounty hunting type of mission where you run around killing mobs that have this symbol above their head. Once you kill the required amount of mobs, in this case it would be 3 mage swans and 3 microchews, you get this small amount of XP under it, and you move on. Once you finish all the bounties on the page, you get the reward at the top and you unlock a new page. The second option would probably be fate farming. You've seen these purple circles here on the map throughout your adventure in the MSQ and wonder what they might be. They are basically fates, or as their full name would be, full active time events, and they spawn randomly at any time on the map. The way they work is that if you're above the max level of said fate, you have to sink down your level in order to participate, such as this. You click on this button right here and get synced down. They don't give a lot of XP, at least the early ones, but they're useful if you're in a long duty queue or just don't feel like spamming dungeons. You can turn your brain off, put some music or a video on your second screen and just go to town grinding these. There are some fates which actually have a slightly longer than average timer, usually 20 minutes at least, which are special achievement fates. You can tell that they're special because of the different music that plays while you're in the area. These shouldn't be challenged alone, since even if they're level 20 fates, the mob inside still pack a punch. It's recommended that you only approach these if you have some friends or FC mates on hand to help you out. If you do beat those, you get an achievement and a special item from these, usually minions, glamour items such as earrings or triple triad cards. The third option is completing your weekly challenge log. The challenge log is something that you unlock after completing the level 15 quest Rising to the Challenge from this NPC right here. The way it works that every week after 8 AM server time it resets, you can do various things in order to complete missions for XP, Gil, MGP, Chocobo, Companion XP and so on. You can find it under the logs button and challenge log. These are usually useful if you have a side job you don't really enjoy playing, but you still want to level it up to the max level for the sake of achievements, or don't really have time for a lot of farming or grinding, so you just knock these out and basically you're done for the week. The fourth option, or should I say rather the fourth options, would be hunt bills and beast stripes. The reason why I'm talking about these two together is because they're dailies and you can easily do them together for almost an entire free level, at least from the expansion Heaven's Sword onwards. Sadly, the ones from A Realm Reborn don't give out as much XP. You unlock the hunt by hitting level 50, then going to your chosen Grand Company's barracks where you can find a quest that will unlock it. It's a blue quest, so you shouldn't be able to miss it. For Ulda in particular, you can find it at this NPC right here, Mimio Mio. After completing the quest, you will unlock the hunt board found right here in the barracks for A Realm Reborn. You can unlock every expansion's build board after reaching the required level and completing the quest. Obviously, you have to unlock them in chronological order, so that would be A Realm Reborn, then Heaven's Sword, then Stormblood, then Shadowbringers. Once you unlock the build board, you can get two types of builds. You have daily builds and weekly builds. Once you pick them up, you can find them in your key items inventory. The way they work is about the same as the hunting log. You go out in the world and kill mobs with a symbol above their head, such as this one above the wild hog, and when you finish you get XP and currency specific to hunts. You got allied seals for A Realm Reborn, Centurio seals for Heaven's Sword and Stormblood, and sacks of nuts for Shadowbringers. They can be used to buy various items from the hunt vendor. As mentioned earlier, daily builds can be picked up every day after 3 PM server time or GMT +0, while weekly builds can only be picked up once a week after the weekly reset on Tuesday. Regarding beast stripes, you are unlocking them via various blue quests found in cities. They are daily quests that you can do for experience and beast stripe currency. You can only do a certain amount of daily quests, the amount found when you press Ctrl and U. You can see under beast stripe daily quest allowance that you can get 12 per day. Every beast tribe in the game has ranks and you level them up by doing their quests. The A Realm Reborn tribes work slightly different compared to the others from Heaven's Sword onward, so I'll talk about these first. The A Realm Reborn tribes have 7 ranks in total. After maxing them out, they go to the 8th rank by completing the Allied Beast Tribe quest. Every time you rank up in one of the 4 A Realm Reborn beast tribes, you are eligible to pick up more quests from them. I believe the total you can reach is about 15 quests or so, meaning that you'll have to start being picky about the ones you want to complete, or else you'll hit the daily cap before you actually get to finish them. Do keep in mind though that the Ixal tribe is for crafters, so you can't use those to level up combat jobs. Every expansion has a crafter tribe or a gatherer tribe. For A Realm Reborn it's Ixal, for Heaven's Sword it's Mughals for crafters, for Stormblood it's Namazu for crafting and gathering, and then Stoneblood has the first two tribes which are separate. You have crafting for dwarves and gathering for Kikian. From Heavensward onwards, the questing changes. Not only do you have 3 beast tribes per expansion instead of 4 or 5 the way you have in a Realm Reborn, but every beast tribe only gets 3 quests a day as well, and when you rank up you get 3 extra quests, but only for at reset, so if you forget to do them or you don't have the allowances to pick them up, they're lost, so be smart about it. One trick that you can do with beast tribes is if you don't feel like doing them on a Monday, for example, you can pick them up and then do them on Tuesday. Even if you complete them after a daily reset, you can still pick up the ones from Tuesday's daily reset, so it's useful if you're tired from work or just lazy on a particular day. As I said earlier, from Heavensward onwards the XP starts getting better, so if you do the hunt builds and the dailies from 1 or more beast tribes, that's a pretty good chunk of XP right here, almost enough for an entire level, maybe even 1 entire level. The next 2 methods, in my opinion, are interchangeable in efficiency depending on what role you are leveling, tank or healer or DPS. I will be putting them in the order for DPS jobs, but keep in mind that most of the time is the other way around for a tank or a healer. The 5th method would be spamming dungeons and doing daily roulettes. To be honest, this one's pretty self-explanatory after the wall of information I just put in front of you with hunts and daily beast tribes. But just queue for the highest level dungeon you can do and spam that one until you can do the next one, instead repeat. As for duty roulettes, just do them once a day before the daily reset at 3 server time. The 6th option would be the Grand Company Squadron. Once you hit 2nd Lieutenant in your Grand Company via promoting, you unlock the Grand Company Squadron. It's basically a team of NPCs that can do one of 2 things. One of the things you can do with them is you can send them out on missions like retainers to level them up until you hit the rank of missions. These missions cost Grand Company seals, so they're another good place to spend your seals on, and they only allow you to choose 1 per week. They give pretty good rewards in the form of buff consumables such as this one, and they're comparable with rank 3 FC buffs, but there's 2 downsides to that. One would be that FC buffs and squadron buffs don't stack, keep that in mind, and the other one would be that these scrolls only last for 2 hours instead of the 24 hours of an FC buff. The other thing that you can do with your squadron is run dungeons from level 20 to 60 with them, meaning that you can essentially bypass queue timers. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you need to level up your squad as well, or else they can go for higher level dungeons. So let's say you're level 35 and you just did the level 32 dungeons with them, and you hit level 41 before them, you still have to do Brave Flox's long stop before you can actually do the Stone Vigil. I should probably point out that the Grand Company Squadron method is the one that requires the most background setup out of all of them, because whenever you complete the challenge log challenge, you get the recruit in the enlistment paper found right there on the table, and that's how you build up your actual squadron. You do, however, already start with 3 NPCs when you unlock the squadron, but do keep in mind that you will need more and possibly ones of a different role if you need to level up different jobs. For example, if you want to level up a healer, you will need to find the 2nd DPS, because the Grand Company Squadron parties basically imitate the actual dungeon party ones, so 1 tank, 1 healer and 2 DPS. There is another system like the Grand Company Squadron which got implemented in Shadowbringers, but I won't show it to you since it can get a bit spoilery. All you need to know is that it's called a trust system, and the devs give you the option to take NPCs into the dungeons when you're running them in the story for the first time, and then run dungeons with them again for a 2nd time while leveling an alt job. You still have to level them up by spamming dungeons with them in the team though, so keep that in mind. The last and both the most efficient and most brain-numbing method would be deep dungeons. Deep dungeons are unlocked fairly early into the game. All you need to do is complete the main quest called Into the Copper Hell, and you can pick up the quest The House at Dead build from New Gridania from this NPC right here, Nojiro Marujiro. After completing the quest line, you can talk to the Wood Whaler Expeditionary Captain found right here in Quarry Mill. It will open up a menu which looks very different compared to the UI that you usually see in game. You can queue in this deep dungeon from level 1, making it a good option for leveling up healers and tanks up to level 15 as well before you start spamming dungeons with them. All that you need to know is that your regular gear doesn't really matter in Palace of the Dead. The either pull arm or armor that you can see right here on the UI is what dictates your damage and resistances. You level these up by opening silver chests found randomly inside the dungeon. Do be careful, however, some may be traps that explode and hurt you really badly, so make sure you don't open them when you're in combat. Whenever you finish a floor, you get a pretty good chunk of XP. And in order to queue up, you talk to this NPC right here, then select enter Palace of the Dead, then one of the two available save slots, followed by enter with a mashed party. The fixed party option is there if you already have a party going or if you want to try to solo it. It's something that I only recommend until you get your Aether Pool gear at least at a decent level. You will need to raise your Aether Pool gear as much as possible because eventually the game will not let you progress further until you do so, and if you've used up both of your save slots, don't worry because you can just clear the slots easily by clicking on reset progress and then selecting the save slot you want to reset. This doesn't delete your Aether Pool armor progress or Aether Pool arm progress. This only clears your current progress in that save with climbing the floors. Once you clear the 50th floor, you will be able to queue from floor 51, which allows you to spam the 5160 bracket. It's what everyone spams, so a bit of a fair warning here. Until you reach level 50 and you beat that floor, you will probably have queues that are decent in length. It might not be the case at the moment due to the amount of new players or returners found in the game, as of July 2021 at least. The other deep dungeon is Heaven on High, which requires you to beat floor 15 in Palace of the Dead and to be at least level 61. The quest can be found in the Ruby Sea, in the village located right here on the east outer coastline. Heaven on High works exactly the same as Palace, with the exception that people spam the 21 to 30 bracket instead of the 51 to 60, which you unlock after beating floor 20. Sadly, there is no deep dungeon for Shadowbringers. Instead, the open exploration zone Bojan Southern Front is used to level from level 71 to 80. I won't mention that in this video, however, I will make a video separately on that duty and Eureka in the future. That would be all for this video. I know that this one was a bit more information than the last one, but I do hope you enjoyed watching and learned something new today. If you liked the video and want to see more, feel free to give it a like and maybe throw in a subscription if you want to stay up to date with the guides I'm making. I'm currently releasing one video per week, but I might ramp that to 2 in the future. That would be all. Take care and have fun in the game. See ya.